At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition has a look at stories making news tonight. Police officials investigating a video of an Abaco woman sexually abusing a toddler. Also, a teacher union president defends recent industrial actions. And the healthcare minister addresses healthcare affordability and NHI benefits.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
Again, very disturbed over what seemed to be the actions of, we could only say, either demon-possessed or troubled in the spirit.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, a disturbing video of a young male child being sexually assaulted by an adult female is making its rounds on social media. Police officials say that they are aware of the video and are currently investigating the matter. Now, a local counselor is chiming in on the psychological effects that sexual assault can have on a young child. Shalia Roll reports.
It's a disturbing video of a woman sexually assaulting a young child. According to police, the woman was identified as a 20-year-old who sexually assaulted a young male that was just 2 years old when the video was recorded. This video making its rounds on social media, leaving the community of Abaco and the Bahamas outraged.
Community is, again, very disturbed over what seemed to be the actions of, we could only say, either demon-possessed or troubled in the spirit, to reduce yourself to not only do something like this, but then to record it and share it. We don't understand what would motivate an individual to do something like this.
According to sources, the alleged abuser is also related to the victim. Clinical consultant Dr. Andy Lang also lending his voice to the troubling situation.
A lot of times we hear about incidents like this, and it's usually the other way around. We hear about men assaulting or abusing children. We hear about men being the perpetrators of incidents like this. But here it is, we have a female doing the same thing. And it's just to point out that females can be perpetrators of child sexual abuse as well.
And here are the signs that could indicate sexual abuse in young children.
Bedwetting. The child might become withdrawn. The child might begin acting out in school or in other social settings. The child might begin enacting the sexual act that is being done to him or her. The child might experience depression, anxiety. The child might regress to earlier behaviors like bedwetting and thumb sucking.
As the matter is under active police investigation, Superintendent Stephen Roll, press liaison officer for the Northern Bahamas, urges the public to cease disseminating the disturbing video.
And once we have more information for the public, a further press statement will be released. We just want to urge the public to cease from sharing that video forthwith.
Now, police have confirmed that the young woman in the video is in police custody for questioning, and charges will be filed upon the completion of the investigation. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Roll.
Meantime, police on Grand Bahama are busy searching for Ellsworth Kristen Williams of number 67 Frobisher Drive in connection with breach of bail, threats of death, and causing damage. Williams, also known as Ellie, stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighs 148 pounds, dark brown complexion, dark brown eyes, and slim built. Anyone with information can contact police at 911, Police Control Room at 350-3014 or 6, the National Crime Prevention Office at 302-8430, or Crime Stoppers at 352-1919, 350-3106 or 9. Family Islanders can contact 242-300-8476. Well, it's an appeal for respect and fair treatment. President of the Bahamas Educators, Counselors, and Allied Workers Union, Sandra Major, is standing by a recent TUC-led industrial action while the Supreme Court on Tuesday evening ordered participating unions like the Bahamas Doctors Union and the Bahamas Air Traffic Controllers Union back to work. Major says TUC members comprised of doctors, teachers, and the like are not trying to bankrupt the country, but simply want their just due. Cleopatra Murphy has the details.
Not a strike, but President of the Bahamas Educators, Counselors, and Allied Workers Union, Sandra Major, says the union's participation in a 2-day industrial action was the result of frustration. Some members have concerns over rental assistance, outstanding confirmation since 2019, and other matters. While the union has been able to meet with labor officials, she says there tends to be little progress.
In 2023, for teachers, they gave more people. The new people coming out, they got this a little quicker, right? We appreciate that. Let's get that right. But I waited from 2020. Where's mine? I'm waiting. Where's my reclassification? My salary is $1,000. If it was changed, I could get $1,500. I want my $500. So all we're saying is, somebody has to fix it.
On those issues, Deputy Director of Education for Grand Bahama, Michelle Boleg, who says schools were negatively impacted by the industrial action, says she hopes that the matters are soon resolved in everyone's best interest. But Major is adamant that each member of the union is important.
People would say, well, why would teachers why would all the teachers fail and cause the children to suffer? What about the teacher? My question to the whole country is, what about the teacher? Our salaries aren't that great that they could just stay home or decide we're going to stop working because we don't need a salary. Our salaries are not that great. So teachers are important. And when we work, we expect to be paid.
The union leader says educators face a myriad of challenges in the classroom daily, from a lack of materials, but often go above and beyond to get the job done. So their collective bargaining agreement should be adhered to. For 2 days, teachers and administrators in Bekwoo stayed home in solidarity with the umbrella union, the Trade Union Congress. That union's president, Obi Ferguson, has faced a heap of criticism over his call for a national strike, but Major says she is grateful.
As a affiliate of the TUC, I'm appreciative of Mr. Obi Ferguson for what he has done for us, because without his assistance, we would not have made it this far.
Her members are now back on the job and students are back in the classroom. At the end of the day, Major says the union is not against government, but just wants to ensure its members get what they are entitled to. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Thanks, Cleo. Well, the industrial action led by the Trade Union Congress, TUC, has come to an end today, following a court injunction ordering union members to return to work. The Director of Labor is tonight expressing surprise at the strike, which disrupted key sectors across the country. Despite recent meetings and ongoing dialogue with union leaders, questions remain about what prompted the sudden move. More details in this report.
I do think that it was unnecessary at this point. As you can see, a number of other union presidents would have publicly stated that they won't take part in this demonstration.
The Director of Labor, Howard Thompson, says he was taken by surprise when union leaders participated in industrial action that left several sectors in Grand Bahama and across the country short-staffed.
Today, because the reality is issues are being addressed, issues are being resolved. Some issues resolve very, very quickly, and some takes time. You know, all issues can be resolved. It takes proper dialogue, patience, and ongoing open dialogue.
According to Thompson, the government has maintained regular dialogue with union leaders through quarterly meetings, during which members' concerns were addressed. He notes that none of the issues raised in those meetings suggested the need for a strike.
None of those issues was at a level where I thought was so critical that an impending industrial action would have been taking place.
Thompson reveals that the most recent meeting between government officials and union leaders took place just weeks ago, ending on what he describes as a positive note. The question remains, what led to the strike despite ongoing dialogue and seemingly cooperative discussions?
I think the bulk of them, if I'm not talking out of turn, are indeed fiscal matters, but a number of them are really non-fiscal matters, and those ones are relatively easy to resolve. And I think the parties are well on their way to resolving those issues. I'm still trying to get to the bottom of all of the issues that, I guess, the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm still trying to pinpoint which issue is that particular straw.
While acknowledging that union members may have valid grievances, he questions the timing of the industrial action, expressing his belief that it was not the most appropriate course of action given the circumstances.
It's never a good time to engage in what I would call at this point an illegal industrial action. As a director of labor, in particular with ILO standards, there needs to be continuous open social dialogue. And as far as I'm concerned, there's always been open, proper dialogue. And some issues were resolved, are being resolved, and the ones that are difficult, they will be resolved. It's just a matter of patience and time and ensuring that parties always come back to the table to discuss.
Switching gears now, access to health care remains a pressing concern for many Bahamians. The Minister of Health and Wellness says the government is partnering with private sectors, providers, and investing in new facilities to ensure citizens receive top-tier medical services, particularly through the National Health Insurance Program. More details in this report.
We have to stop classifying healthcare into private and public. Healthcare is one living organism.
For many Bahamians, healthcare provided by the private sector is considered top tier compared to services available in the public healthcare system. However, financial constraints often limit access to private care. Recognizing this, the government is working to bridge the gap by integrating private sector medical professionals into the national framework, ensuring that every Bahamian has access to quality healthcare regardless of their financial status.
It is our responsibility as healthcare providers to interface with the private sector. I believe we're starting to do that now, and I'm in communication with Doctors Hospital. I'm building a facility here. Doctors Hospital is building a facility. It's great for the people of Grand Bahama. How are they going to access the services? NHI is one of those components where it can be done.
The National Health Insurance NHI program, first introduced in January 2016, was designed to provide universal access to affordable, high-quality health care. Minister of Health, Dr. Michael Darville, emphasizing that the initiative aims to empower all citizens to access private health care services if they choose.
And that's the reason why we're working so diligently to improve the public health care system so that our patients do not migrate completely to the private sector. But where we're going, Bahamians will have choices. And it is our responsibility in the Ministry of Health and Wellness to ensure that our public facilities are well kept.
Additionally, the government is prioritizing the training of medical professionals in the public healthcare system to enhance the patient experience. According to the health minister, these efforts are crucial to ensuring that healthcare services across the country meet world-class standards.
To ensure that our experiences or the experiences of the patients is paramount. They need to feel loved. They need to feel as if they're wanted in the facility and they want to be taken care of. I believe we can do it, and we're changing the way how we provide services in the public health care facilities across the country, not only Grand Bahama and Nassau, but throughout the archipelago.
And still to come.
A disabled man appeals for help. That story, sports, and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, return.
It has the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of. Now it's here. Commonwealth Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly approval. It's a service that just comes naturally to us, just like how love of tradition comes naturally to you. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Dolly Madison.
Central Grand Bahama, make the right choice. Vote Precious Prosper and Marco Carey JP for local government. Make the right choice. Hashtag Team Central GB. Vote Precious Prosper and Marco Carey JP.
Welcome to the new era of home improvement. Third Dimension is back and better than ever. Discover our latest products and services designed to transform your space. From innovative designs to cutting-edge technology, we've got it all. Your dream space is just a call away. Our team is here and ready to serve you, making your experience better than ever. Visit us today on Yellow Pine Street and see why Third Dimension is your go-to for all things home improvement.
Ever heard of Variety? At Hedibo Plus, we have hair, skin, home appliances, body care, garden tools, and cleaning supplies. We are located in the LMR Mall. WhatsApp us at 808-5316. Now, that is what I call variety.
Hi, I'm Pastor Frank Hagan from the School of Prophetic Ministry with a special invitation for you to attend the gathering.
Grand Bahama. It's time to gather for the gathering. The School of the Prophetic Ministry presents The Gathering, celebrating 10 years of Apostolic Prophetic Release on Grand Bahama with a dynamic Holy Ghost-filled conference beginning Wednesday, January 22nd to Friday, January 24th, 7:30 nightly. Day sessions Thursday and Friday at 12 noon. Come and hear from Prophet Eric Bourne Copeland from San Antonio, Texas, Apostle Rick Bethel from Belle Glades, Florida, conference host and speaker Apostle Christopher Russell and Pastor Anna Russell, all the way from Christian Tabernacle, Nassau. And oh yes, come and get your praise on with the Anointed Christian Tabernacle praise team led by Minister Eunice Roll. Grand Bahama, it's time to gather for the gathering, January 22nd to the 24th. Come and receive your miracle from God.
One time. More power, double, double.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. It's a story you will only hear on ZNS. 21-year-old Ezekiel Miller is making the most of life without fingers or legs. As an amputee and survivor of a bacterial infection, this young man is determined to live a life that, though abnormal, is still full of striving and gratitude. In an exclusive interview with Jolanda Thompson Everest, he opens up about what happened to him that led to this current situation.
Ezekiel Miller's life is forever altered after stepping on a nail. While still in primary school, he was walking home from school when he unknowingly contracted bacteria from the wound. The infection spread throughout his body, eventually leading to the amputation of his fingers and legs.
I need help.
At just 21 years old, Ezekiel Miller is now navigating life in the big leagues. In this reflective piece, he wants to set the record straight about his condition and what truly happened. He takes us back to the moment that changed his life, sharing that while walking along a dirt road with his brother and sister at such a tender age, he stepped on a nail but continued home, unaware of the injury. Though he felt no pain, it wasn't until his mother noticed his foot was bleeding heavily that he realized something was seriously wrong.
She see the blood and she wrapped her, and next day going to school. Then after that, I was walking on it. Still young, walking. Then after when we see the foot swell, we go to the hospital.
Due to severe swelling, Ezekiel explained that the doctors told him and his mother it was too late to fix the wound.
Did it because it was too swell. See, the pus is coming out, so couldn't do nothing but it. And the bones started breaking, so couldn't do nothing.
At just 14, Ezekiel had his first leg amputated. Then at 19, the bacteria continued to spread, leading to the amputation of his second leg. But the bacteria didn't stop there. It moved upward, eventually affecting his hands, which resulted in the loss of his fingers. Despite enduring so much, Ezekiel persevered, remaining simply grateful for life.
I thank the Lord every day. See, need to do, you know. Also, be on my grind.
Although unemployed, Ezekiel continues to strive, doing his best every day to sit on corners and gather as much financial assistance as he can. When asked about his motivation to keep fighting each day, here's what he had to say.
God first all the time. And that put me, gotta worry about what I gotta do, take care of me and all that. As far as people focus on me, see? Always be happy, but sometimes be sad too with it. I can't do this and do that, but I just try.
Ezekiel expresses his gratitude to those who have generously helped, but emphasizes that he still needs more support. He's asking those who may not be able to contribute financially to consider donating clothes, lotion, daily essentials, or even offering a haircut. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson, Everest.
And finally, in news tonight, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated marking its 117th Founders' Day on Wednesday, January 15th, 2025. To honor this monumental occasion, the Pi Upsilon Mega Chapter in Grand Bahama has planned a sophisticated jazz brunch open to the public, celebrating the sorority's legacy of service and sisterhood. The jazz brunch will take place on Sunday, January 26th, 2025 at 1 p.m. at the Pavilion Grand Lucayan. This elegant event is open to the community and will feature live jazz music, delicious cuisine, and an opportunity to celebrate the rich history and purpose of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Funds raised will support the sorority's initiatives aimed at advancing educational opportunities for women and girls. Additionally, the Pi Upsilon Mega Omega chapter is proud to highlight the transformative impact of the 20 Pearls program here in Freeport. This signature program has been instrumental in fostering education and empowerment for the next generation, aligning with the sorority's mission to uplift communities through scholastic achievement and service. Sasha Roll, president of Pi Upsilon Omega chapter, says, as we celebrate 117 years of sisterhood and service, we are reminded of our ongoing commitment to making a meaningful difference in the lives of women, girls, and our broader community. Well, that's a look at stories making news. Jay Philippe is up next with sports, but first, here's a check on weather.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Cause it's so beautiful.
See news in the making? Call us at 352-9713 or 359-5167, or you can email us at ZNS3news@gmail.com.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate.
Your Crepe has so much to offer. From delicious, savory, and sweet crepes, coffee drinks and bubble teas, to rich, creamy milkshakes, and so much more. We are located on West Mall Drive, Freeport, Grand Bahama, and coming soon to Plaza del Sol, Prince Charles Drive, Nassau, Bahamas. Shape your crepe, handcrafted crepes and more. Call us at 68-SHAPE.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to sports. First in sports, high school basketball regular season tipped off this week over at St. George's High School Gymnasium. In the opening game, Jack Hayward Wildcats came from behind to take down 8 Mad Rock Blue Jays 39-33 behind Stefano Knowles, who was a high point scorer.
I felt we did pretty decent. I felt that we could have done better. We have some learning to do. We just listening to the coaches from now on. And as the season continues, I hope we'll get better and hopefully progress and do better than last year. The coach told us to stay calm, do what we were taught, and to also be patient that the game would also come to us.
In the feature game, St. George's High Senior Boys defeated Tabernacle Falcons 43-42 to win the President's Cup. Isaiah Turtle Roker went off for 25 points in the victory. Dylan Morris had a team at 16 points in the loss for the Falcons. Switching gears now in sports, Fast Track Club is scheduled to compete in the U.S. this weekend in Gainesville, Florida at the RAD Sports College Invitational.
A small group up there. They compete at the indoor track meet. There's a college section and a youth section. It affords the kids a good opportunity to see good exposure from the different universities and to sharpen up before we hit Nassau for the next big meet, which is Star Trackers.
I'm going to be competing in the triple jump, high jump, and 60 meters. And I've been working hard from the summer break, so I have some very high expectations for me, especially because it's the beginning of the season. So I expect to just do good and try my best and trust in my training and trust in God most of all.
Running the 60 and 200, and training has been going good. I really been working hard to see results in the future. Gainesville, I expect a PR. I expect to most definitely do better than I did last year, and that's one of the main goals, and to come first.
And finally, in sports, Grand Bayman college football standout Prince Strawn is taking his talents to the University of Southern California after competing his sophomore year at Boise State. With the Broncos, Strawn had 37 career catches for 578 yards and 3 total touchdowns. And that's your quick check on sports. Your Facebook friend of the day is next. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
The most important thing in life is family. And whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
Get in, get out, equip yourself for the future. Pine Yard Technical Center is preparing the next generation for tomorrow. Sign up today for long-term or short-term classes. Strike a spark today, ignite a flame tomorrow. Torch handling, fire watch, plate and pipe welding. Sign up today.
Hi, I'm Pastor Frank Hagan from the School of Prophetic Ministry with a special invitation for you to attend the gathering.
Grand Baha Mar. It's time to gather for the gathering. The School of the Prophetic Ministry presents The Gathering, celebrating 10 years of Apostolic Prophetic Release on Grand Baha Mar with a dynamic Holy Ghost-filled conference beginning Wednesday, January 22nd to Friday, January 24th, 7:30 nightly. Day sessions Thursday and Friday at 12 noon. Come and hear from Prophet Eric Bourne Copeland from San Antonio, Texas, Apostle Rick Bethel from Belle Glades, Florida, conference host and speaker Apostle Christopher Russell and Pastor Anna Russell, all the way from Christian Tabernacle, Nassau. And oh yes, come and get your praise on with the Anointed Christian Tabernacle praise team led by Minister Eunice Roll. Grand Baha Mar, it's time to gather for the gathering, January 22nd to the 24th. Come and receive your miracle from God.
One time. More power, double.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that's going to do it for us here in the North. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's a live look at the Bahamas tonight, coming your way next.
parliamentary session. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, how big a financial hit did industrial action have on the country? Both the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Economics weigh in on the impact. Also, the government presses brakes on the organ transplant program. Hear what's behind the delay. And legislators seek divine intervention ahead of new parliamentary session. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. This week's mass illegal strike certainly leaving stakeholders concerned. Tonight, we have the Prime Minister weighing in, calling it a disappointing move. And this, as the government reaffirms its commitment to work things out. Devontae Hanna takes it from here.
Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis mincing no words on this week's illegal protest staged by the Trade Union Congress, standing firm on his opinion that the action was unnecessary.
I'm still trying to understand what motivated the action. Thank God the impact that I thought it would have wasn't there.
According to reports, air traffic control and some public schools were impacted, but seemingly taking the hardest blow from the sick out was the Public Hospital Authority. Executives lament 98% of doctors in the Bahamas Doctors Union failed to report to work over Monday and Tuesday. It's a statistic Prime Minister Davis is calling disappointing.
Here we are talking with professionals, doctors, who have not only a duty to the employees, that's the government, and yes, if there are issues with the government, they have the right to take industrial action, but in the context of their duty to their patients.
An injunction filed in the Supreme Court Tuesday now brings the issue to a halt, making it mandatory for union members to return to work. The Minister of Labor and Public Service, the Honorable Pia Glover-Roll, also left saddened by the union's actions, but says it won't dampen the government's enthusiasm to quash labor woes.
The door remains open. We want to resolve the issues. We've never said that we don't want to. Some issues are a little more complex than others, but we would love to have them come back to the table, those that are affected, and definitely continue the conversations.
Prime Minister Davis echoing the same, but also encouraging Trade Union Congress President Obie Ferguson to meet with him, which he says he has been attempting to do for weeks.
What I understand from my office was that when they called him on the Monday to determine which of the unions he were going to bring to the meeting, he indicated that he couldn't make it because he was in court.
Now, the TUC's decision to protest all stems from that 2021 signing of a memorandum of understanding promising a workers' agreement with the then opposition, the Progressive Liberal Party. And now, as they are in government, the Minister of Labor and Public Service, the Honorable Pia Glover-Roll, says that it has nearly been fulfilled. Makushla.
Well, thanks, Devontae. Now, that injunction handed down from the court yesterday, bringing a halt to the work stoppage that saw many workers affiliated with the Trade Union Congress stay off their jobs for the past 2 days. Today, Economic Affairs Minister Senator the Honorable Michael Alquita said this action's fiscal impact is still being assessed, and he dismissed suggestions the government had been stonewalling workers.
Prepared to address the issues. Some of them take a little while long, and we just request patience. The government is willing to address them.
Well, meantime, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investment and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, weighing in on that major strike action taken during the peak holiday season. While figures are still not in on the financial cost of the work stoppage there, the impact is being viewed as quite significant for Bahamas Air.
Any disruption at Bahamas Air has a significant impact on the airline and the economy. On every flight that is canceled, there are residents and guests who are disadvantaged, who are stuck perhaps in a foreign country or on an island where they had checked out of a hotel
all of this cost need to be paid, absorbed by somebody, notwithstanding the sheer inconvenience and the reputational damage on Bahamas Air. Bahamas Air is our national carrier, and it's a company that's dependent on subventions, meaning the taxpayers. So every dollar that Bahamas Air must spend unnecessarily comes from the taxpayers' pockets.
In terms of the way forward, the aviation minister says the airline is plagued with legacy issues and devising a plan for its future remains a key focus.
This is an entity that's suffered financially for decades. We have a strategic plan. We're looking at possibilities of capital injection into the airline. And I believe once we are able to achieve some of these strategic objectives in the medium term, all will be well. Bahamas Air is still our national carrier, and wherever we are and we see Bahamas Air arrive, we welcome it with pride.
In other news tonight, the Economic Affairs Minister 8 years ago famously defended the then PLP administration's use of the value-added tax amid growing public dissatisfaction. And now the minister is defending the Davis administration's recent decision to lower VAT on non-cooked food items sold in grocery stores. Effective April 1st, the cost of VAT on these items will drop by points from its present 10% to 5%. It's expected the reduction will cost the government about $30 million by its own projections. But talking about it today, Senator the Honourable Michael Halkitis seemed confident its impact on the country's fiscal projections will be almost negligible.
We are doing a much better job in pursuing large taxpayers who have not been fulfilling their full obligation. We've had a lot of success with that. And so through growth in the economy, better administration, those who can afford to pay and have things outstanding, we can pay for it. We recently passed the domestic minimum top-up tax bill, which we expect to start to impact our budget next year. And so all of that, technical people have advised us that it would not negatively impact our fiscal position, and it's something that we can do quite easily and accommodate.
Coming up, the latest on Sarkis Ismailian's legal standoff. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this month's business.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking.
This one? No. Hey, look, KFC has an incredible promo.
I already had that for lunch.
Crunch your hunger cravings and satisfy the whole family with KFC bucket meals starting at just $20. Get freshly prepared golden fried chicken, buttery biscuits, and add your favorite large sides. Bucket meals starting at just $20. KFC, finger licking good.
Whether you're crossing borders or navigating busy airports, with BTC's reliable data roaming, you're always in touch. In a fast-paced world, staying connected is key. Don't miss important moments. Stay connected effortlessly with BTC, wherever your journey takes you.
So we helped bring some magic to the Albury Sale Primary School. We were able to visit with Mickey Mouse, bring some gifts, and just celebrate the magic of Disney in the community today here in Nassau.
We were in a Disney sort of mood. It was such a great joy to see their faces light up and to hold those toys in their hands, knowing that I've got a piece of Disney in my hand. It was just awesome.
Disney coming to Eleuthera, coming to Nassau and Abaco. I'm so proud of Disney Cruise Line and the work Disney is doing, especially in the classroom and the schools in the Bahamas.
been an amazing day for me.
This is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
Well, you're looking at a shot of the six-legged roundabout open to the public back on August 30th, 2010. Welcome back to the Bahamas tonight. Across the world, the HMPV virus drawing attention as fears as a severe flu surface. But as our Lloyd Allen shares, a number of factors are at play that every household should know. Lloyd?
Now, by definition, the human metapneumovirus, better known as HMPV flu strain, is relatively new, first identified in 2001. Experts now peg the upper respiratory infection as a global concern. The World Health Organization warns, like COVID-19, this virus comes with a cocktail of symptoms, including congestion, persistent coughing, runny nose, and possibly hospitalization. However, the group most at risk, the very young and the old. Termed high risk, children 5 and under, the elderly, those with varying levels of immunosuppression, or patients living with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD. Medical officials are now watching the annual quademic, now on the rise in the East. For example, HMPV cases in China, while considered normal for this time of year, have led to new cases in a number of countries, including India. But where does the Bahamas lie in this?
The HMPV is just one of the respiratory illnesses that exist, cause some challenges.
Acting Director at the Department of Public Health, Dr. Philip Swan, assures poor health habits are among contributing factors, as well as exposure to an infected person's environment.
Persons with compromised immune systems, who are those who are taking steroids long term, for example, those who have asthma, those who are cancer, HIV, uncontrolled diabetes. These are individuals who are at more risk than others. Of course, those who are obese, because again, the ability to respond appropriately to chest infections or lung infections are slightly compromised.
Dr. Swan shares on the numbers.
HMPV is not something that we have received any positive tests for in recent times. It's something that exists, and we have tested in the past, but we have not received any reports of any positive cases. Influenza virus is something also that's circulating. It's having again, there's different forms of it. We can have it in parts of the U.S., and that's why we're keeping a close eye on it. But again, persons are staying home or being impacted with signs and symptoms of it.
For patients, educators, and others, the advice is to take every precaution.
Respiratory etiquette is what we continue to advance. If you have a cough and a cold, you're sneezing and you're coughing just the crook of your elbow, or use a tissue and discard that tissue. Handkerchiefs are no longer something that you should be using except for decorations and style. If you have a runny nose and a cough again, wear a mask.
Now, Makushla, Dr. Swan says, while there has been talk of a more severe flu, the key now and always is to lock in prevention protocols to protect yourself and others. Makushla?
Well, Lloyd, some pretty good advice there for a lot of people who probably are suffering flu-like symptoms at this time of the year. While a lot of today's shocks in healthcare, an indication of a tsunami that's to come. An airy prediction Health Minister Dr. the Honorable Michael Darville himself made in the process, acknowledging that officials must now get down to business to prevent this catastrophic event. According to the minister, that plan includes training for healthcare workers and purchasing more affordable drugs and supplies. All well and good, but what is there for those stricken with catastrophic illnesses like cancer? The minister admits this is a challenge not simply for the Bahamas, but for the developing world.
And the cost of chemotherapy and cancer drugs are extremely high. We are, through National Health Insurance, through catastrophic interventions and providing the necessary basic package, will ensure that oncology services are incorporated in the essential package associated with National Health Insurance. That is the direction we're heading in. And I want the Bahamian people to know that by way of National Health Insurance and with the full implementation of our basic package, every citizen in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas will become a private patient. That's where we're going. That again. And we're mandated to meet that journey by the Pan American Health Organization by the year 2030.
As Dr. Darville further explains, this requires finding a new funding mechanism that does not tie into the public purse. Rather, everyone will contribute money that will be used to provide essential services. Now, the minister, whose comments came during his appearance last evening on the ZNS Daily Show, The Rundown, also at the time acknowledged that the National Organ Transplant Program, initially slated to begin before the end of 2023, is at a standstill. And this for cases for multiple reasons.
One of the challenges we have is when we looked at the program, most of the insurance companies like to do organ transplant in centers of excellence. And so as we're preparing our staff for the transplant, we are moving closer towards it, but it requires more training. And the reality of the organ transplant program is that with the amount of dialysis patients we currently have in the country, the demand is now extremely high, and we are in discussions with local experts as well as international partners to activate the program that may start initially out of the country and eventually migrate back into the country.
Those entrusted to lead the country this morning, making good on a long-standing tradition to seek divine guidance, faith, and wisdom as they set out on another year of governance. But in taking on that weighty responsibility, they were admonished to lead with compassion, serve with conviction, and build a nation reflecting the highest ideals of justice, integrity, and progress. Carla Palmer takes it from here.
The annual Parliamentary Church service provided another opportunity for lawmakers to worship together and seek divine guidance at the start of another year. But as Anglican Bishop of the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, the Right Reverend Leish Boyd puts it in his sermon, parliamentarians need to improve their overall level of performance as elected officials.
Is there bad behavior among you? Irresponsibility, slackness, a self-serving approach, and even complacency? Unfortunately, in my view, there is a little bit of that. And so there is always a call to do better. I encourage you, try to aim higher, because the lower stuff is bad for the institution called representative democracy.
Having been reminded to conduct themselves accordingly, Bishop Boyd challenged the members of both houses of Parliament to respect one another and work in unison to the greater good of all.
In my view, there is too much time spent battling and not enough time collaborating on broader national urgencies and priorities. I cannot tell you how to do your job, because I'm in another field. But I can speak from my heart as someone whom you represent and encourage you always to try to raise the bar, to be your better self, and to pursue what is noblest and what is best.
Bishop Boyd literally instructed parliamentarians to take a moment to reflect on the message and what God was saying to them in that moment. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Sarkis Ismailian and his BML Properties have made a move to request the Bahamas Supreme Court to put China Construction America and China State Construction Engineering Corporation into liquidation for failure to pay the $1.6 billion awarded. However, Ismailian says Bahamians need not fear, as employees of the British Colonial and Margaritaville Beach Resort should note that their livelihoods will be safe, and that's even if he succeeds in persuading the courts to appoint liquidators for the parent company of these hotels, which acted as contractor for the Baha Mar project. BML is reportedly asking the court to appoint Simon Towson and Jean Green Thompson of KPMG Bahamas and James Neal of KPMG Ireland as the official liquidators. Ismailian, the original developer of Baha Mar, is seeking seizure and control of these hotels, which represent the two most significant assets owned by CCA and its subsidiaries. The Chinese state-owned contractor has filed its own appeal in the New York Supreme Court against the $1.6 billion judgment. Well, we can also tell you tonight that the country's preparedness and resiliency against cyber threats and potential attacks are being examined this week as a 3-day cybersecurity conference hosted by the National Computer Incident Response Team got underway this morning. Corval Pyfrom has that story.
The country has come a long way in 3 years when the inaugural cybersecurity conference was held. Significant strides have been taken to lessen the country's vulnerabilities from increasing cyber threats, and Economics Minister Senator Michael Alkitis admits that staying ahead is sometimes a challenge.
We have taken significant steps to protect ourselves in terms of establishing the Computer Incident Response Team, the CIRT, in developing the National Cyber Strategy, and as well fostering these relationships with the regional partners.
The minister is quick to point out why, for a conference focused on building shared cyber resilience, the voices of many stakeholders is necessary.
This is an opportunity for experts to share developments, what they see happening in terms of digital threats, hacking, etc., and even adapt our systems beforehand to better insulate us from those attacks.
These sessions also allow the Bahamas to not only showcase its leadership in this field, but its commitment to enhancing regional resilience. And industry experts say the country cannot afford to take its standing in the region for granted.
Honestly, we're at the maximum point. When it's a new point where we decide to say, you know what, it's time to take action, I think it's right now. It was yesterday, actually.
Olivia Dorset with Cloud Career believes that with cyber threats on the rise, this event is crucial to the fight.
This is a critical time for the nation. The amount of cyber threats that are coming at governments, big enterprises, and keeping data sovereign is really crucial. And these topics, the things that we're going to cover today, I think it's perfect for this audience.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corval Pyfrom.
Well, stay with us. On the Beat is after the break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by folk called SmartPass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community. Also help with the education of our kids in this community and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Stripe and the Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
Hello? You guys had anything to eat us yet? Y'all know Christmas just gone and the rock.
All right, but y'all let me working all day, but what we gonna eat?
If we was by the mall, we could go by Wendy's and get the Dave's special for $5.
Yeah, but you do know that the Dave's deal is now actually nationwide, right?
Wait, let's go. Cable Beach right there.
Let's go.
All right.
At Shell, we say refresh, refuel, rejoice. This Christmas, every $20 fuel up earns you a ticket to over $25,000 in joyful giveaways. Refresh your holiday mood with lavish hotel vouchers, exclusive spa treatments, and high-end shopping vouchers. Fuel up and submit your receipt by WhatsApp to 422-0271 for a chance to win with Shell. Drive to Shell. Fuel up and enter to win your share of $25,000 in giveaways for a December to remember. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, big drops in electricity prices for businesses. In this week's Consumer Choice Report, our Desmond Saunders tells us that entrepreneurs, once irritable over escalating energy costs, are now feeling the effects of BPL's new rate structure.
Several small and medium-sized enterprises now seeing a dip in their electricity costs thanks to the government's recently implemented energy new rate structure. Chief Executive Officer of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce Employers Confederation, Dr. Leo Roll, believes the new structure was long overdue.
We've also heard from our members that light bills and energy costs have gone down tremendously. Now, we know that that is in part because we're out of the summer months, and so it's much cooler. Persons are not inclined to use air conditioning more, but also with the reduction in rates, we note that energy costs have continuously gone down over the past few months.
The new energy reforms by the Davis administration has created a new climate, giving businesses a wide array of alternative energy sources while further reducing energy costs.
They will then look at your business, your place of your establishment, and look at those areas where you're doing well. And so they help you to refine those, and then those areas where you can use some improvement. And so that energy audit is very robust. It encompasses all of the areas, as simple or as granular as panes or cracks in your windows that can cause air conditioning to leak out. Looking at some of the older appliances, giving you recommendations for those appliances that may be energy efficient and where you can source them.
And while some businesses cannot afford an energy audit, Roll outlined several tips businesses can use to stabilize and reduce energy costs.
If you have a water heater but no shower, then turn it off. Having your appliances on a surge protector where it can be turned off at the night, because we have what we call ghost thieves. And what that is appliances or computers or anything that has what we call a power saving mechanism, but there's still energy being generated. And so turning those off in the evening, an air condition that is not ideal for the space that you're using, then it has to work too hard.
Now, many hope BPL's new structure continues for a long time. More importantly, officials hope BPL's new measures can spark a global revolution for a new climate, cleaner energy, and a bright future. Desmond Saunders of Bahamas Tonight.
Well, it's about that time that is, to check in with LaDawn and again Desmond for a sneak peek of Access Now. Guys, what's coming up?
Because I hope you have your dancing shoes, because the Boatman concert featuring KB and Friends is coming up. Desmond, I know you're excited because you love to dance, right?
Yeah, the excitement is building. Commercials are all over, playing all over the radio. I'm excited about it.
I want to see when Kushla bust a move, though.
So we have a ball and a concert. Okay. Stay with us. Our feature story is up next.
Experience the difference with BTC's fixed services. Whether you're working from home or enjoying family time, BTC ensures you're always in touch with the people and moments that count. BTC isn't just a service, it's a lifestyle. Stay connected, stay inspired, and live your best life. BTC.
Wait, what you grabbing all these pizzas, boy?
Wait, Marcos, wait. Yeah, bro. Special on all the large one-topping pizzas, wait.
Pineapple.
All.
Barbecue.
All. Hey, VAT included, but.
I need the $10 special plate.
How many of them would you like?
20 in it. Thank you so much, man. $10, that's it. The Marcos got that deal, boy.
Bahamas, are you ready? 2025! Keep the vibe alive, music don't present. KB. Why you don't know me yet? KB and Friends. The Boatman Show.
All you Rankin Scrape lovers out there, Saturday, February 1st, Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group invites you out to enjoy some Bahamian culture with KB and Friends in concert, The Boatman Show.
Saturday, February 1st at the Farm, Marshall Road.
Can't wait to see you there.
The legendary KB and Friends. Gino D. Colin McDonald. I was scoring the Spank Man. The Falcons, Ancient Man, Mama D. Shine 242 and more.
KB and Friends in concert at the Farm, Marshall Road, Saturday, February 1st.
Tickets on sale at the Beauty Shack. Low location, General 50, VIP 80. And for the Platinum fans, Plus, exclusive skyboxes are available. Gates open at 7 p.m. For more info, call ESC Distributors at 394-0819. Let's keep the vibe alive.
Well, there's a new song hitting Bay. It's Jerry Delancey's salute to new Police Commissioner Shanta Knowles, who was serenaded during her tour yesterday of the downtown Store Market. And that does it for the National Report, but stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 95th Terrace, Centerville, and now located in the Lucaya Shopping Center of Freeport, Grand Bahama.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today. There ain't no place like home.
There Ain't No Place Like Home is a song that really inspires pride. You know, it goes way beyond us as a Bahamian, you know, so it's more about wanting persons to understand that we do live where you vacation, but as you vacation, we want you to take a little piece of us back home with you as well, so you'll always return. It pulls from all of the different islands. You know, if you listen to the song, Exuma, Meguana, Cat Island, Eleuthera, every time I sing it or even think about those islands, I think about what those islands represent, which means that it represents the entire Bahamas. That in itself brings excitement and pride to the song for me. Performing for Gombe was very fun, you know, exciting, fast-paced, like I love it. It was an experience, one that cannot be duplicated, but I will always, you know, remember that one. That one's it's for the books. I just want persons to know that being Bahamian doesn't mean Rick and Scrape. Being Bahamian doesn't mean rap. Being Bahamian doesn't mean soca. It means that you are Bahamian and you can do what you want to do. The music is the music. What makes you different is what you bring to the table. And you have to step out of your comfort zone and know that this is what you want to do, and you have to go out and grab it. This is our music. This is our home. These are our islands. This is our industry. Tourism is everyone's business.
Every island home. New Providence, Eleuthera, Inagua, Abaco, Exuma, Cat Island, San Salvador, Grand Bahama, Long Island, and Bimini, Andros, Ackland.
Social media sensation gets a general manager's nod of approval. The awesome details straight ahead.
Leaders of the Roots and Genesis hold a presser to express Junkanoo dissatisfaction, a cultural dilemma to say the least.
Plus, entertainer KB and friends will be having a concert soon. Buckle up. It's going to be a great ride.
And coming up in sports, Bahamian collegiate track stars making waves.
The Bahamas Tonight Access Now starts now.
Happy Wednesday. Good evening. I'm Desmond Saunders.
And I'm LaDawn Davis. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight Access Now.
These days have just been going by so quickly.
Pretty fast, right?
It's Wednesday, tomorrow is Thursday, and we've got a big entertainment lineup.
And after Thursday comes Entertainment Friday. Zarius Samuels is going to serenade us straight into the weekend.
Well, I can't wait for that. Let's dive straight into the news for you this evening. What started as a playful TikTok audition opened the door of news and broadcasting for 20-year-old Amia Moss. What came next? She never would have imagined. Here's Matea Cunningham with the details.
Amia Moss took a leap of faith, driven by impulse and boldness when she submitted her TikTok audition for the position of news anchor. Her confidence and talent didn't go unnoticed. Shortly after, she caught the attention of our general manager, Mr. Clint Watson, who extended an invitation for a formal interview and audition. After their initial conversation, Mr. Watson wasted no time putting her to the test. He led Amia to our radio booth, handed her a script, and gave her a chance to showcase her natural abilities.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Amia Moss, and this is ZNS News. In top stories tonight, the decision to cut down VAT by 5% on foods sold in stores could lead to a $30 million cut in the government's financial intake. Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honorable Michael Haukitis, making that clear to...
Curious about her journey, I sat down with Amia to hear her perspective on this bold step into the world of broadcasting.
I realized I had a gift of speaking when I was in the 6th grade, and I did a speech competition in regards to Clifford Darling Davis, I can't remember, and I was in Government House, and I spoke to Dame Marguerite Pindling, and that competition, people were so wowed by the way I articulated myself, especially at a young age. So from then, I kind of had a passion for it, and it grew from there.
Then I turned to Mr. Watson for his insights as the man who saw her potential and offered her a real shot.
Instantly, if you're a news person, your ear perks up. That person has a voice. And I instantly heard it, and I was like, she got the voice. And it's so hard to find people with the voice that I could not ignore it. And just her passion, and then talking with her and her confidence and her excitement. You know, I've been waiting to see people who are excited about doing this. News is excitement. I've always been excited about the industry. And seeing young people have the same passion I had when I first began was just phenomenal for me. So she hit all the right notes.
Amaya's story serves as a powerful reminder that passion and talent can sometimes outweigh experience. With the right mentors and an opportunity to shine, raw talent can open doors and create new opportunities. As for Amaya's future here at ZNS, well, all we can say is stay tuned. Reporting for Access Now, I'm Matea Cunningham.
Thanks a lot, Matea. Well, chairman of the Roots and Music Makers Junkanoo organizations joined forces with the Genesis Warhawks due to collective dissatisfaction with past Junkanoo parade results, including the two most recent. The trio detailing their belief that judges are biased in their assessments and calling for change to be made. Here's the story.
Junkanoo is over, the results declared, and once again, not everyone is happy. Genesis Warhawks chairman Philip Taylor says he and other Junkanoo group leaders will be submitting a list of proposed rules, changes, and judging suggestions to the JCNP Rules Committee before they meet ahead of the 2025 Boxing Day Junkanoo Parade.
We are often told that we are not loud enough or we are so smart. How do you define what is being loud according to the Junkanoo rules? How do you define what is too small? If the criteria is simply 201 to be eligible as an A category group, which we tick off all the time, then my numbers or me being smaller should not be a reason why I'm judged any different from any A category group despite the size. So if I'm small in numbers, I would expect the judges to actually see more of my group for me to get, or for our group to get better scores. But for some reason, when you look at the scorecards, half our dancers with numbers are missing.
We will be sending out polls and whatnot as relates to be able to get open communication, open dialogue with the wider public as relates to, in reference to, as it relates to Junkanooers, indicating what they would like to see. Because it's not one person or a few persons' view. This is a wider body. This is bigger than just one person view. This is a grouping of groups of people who love this craft.
All members of Warhawk organization present at the press conference, having all poured a significant amount of their time, talent, and lives into Junkanoo, agreed they've even noticed the young people in the group get discouraged by what they deem an imbalanced and unfair system. Adding they're not as prone to taking back-to-back losses as the more senior members, and that's just the kind of thing that makes them develop an if you can't beat them, join them mentality. Sharing similar sentiments and standing in solidarity, Roots Chairman Dwayne Ellis and Music Makers Chairman Gary Russell.
How are we preserving the culture if particular age groups get out 400 to 500 people, and then the smaller groups stuck at the 200 threshold? So perhaps one of the recommendations you would see is we need a cap.
We are much younger than the groups that have been around for decades. So we kind of feel as if we're not treated fairly. It's not a matter of going against JCNP rules, because we know that there are rules that govern these parades. But these rules need to be changed, they need to be tweaked, and I think we just need to get rid of some of them, to be honest. And it starts with us, the key players within these different organizations. I'll just use...
The Junkanoos pray their cries don't fall on deaf ears. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Well, if you're not aware and if you haven't heard, excitement is building. KB and Friends, a Boatman show, promises to be bigger and better than ever before. Our ex-colleague Forbes spoke to the president of Keep the Vibes Alive, and some performers. Here's a story.
Bahamian music lovers, mark February 1st on your calendar. That's when the vibrant Bahamian Festival featuring KB and Friends will take place. It's an event for Bahamian artists from all walks of life who will come together to create an unforgettable experience. This event is also another collaboration between the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas and the Keep the Vibes Alive organization.
I'm a Bahamian, and the culture is from my heart, and I want to be somebody who could take culture to another level. This is our third show in Keep the Vibes Alive series. The first two was excellent, and this one here gonna be excellent more.
Be a pusher and advocate for Bahamian music. He does it well. He provides a safer environment that's enjoyable for so many to come out and enjoy. We need more wholesome places like that. And so this is what the Broadcasting Corporation is about, promoting our own local culture. We play these Bahamian artist songs on our stations all the time.
With a stellar lineup, new partnership, and an atmosphere of pure rake and scrape, this celebration is promised to leave you dancing and feeling good.
Say one thing, the last two shows was amazing. We had, the oldest person there was about 85, I think it was, 85. Youngest person being about 13 or 14, and everybody was dancing, everybody was moving. I mean, the vendors were dancing, securities were dancing, all the guests were dancing. Everybody was just having a wonderful time. Everybody was killing the roach, raking scrapes, sculling, doing this, doing that. You don't want to miss these. I know what Mama, the luck to see Mama in the VIP, having a good time. She got one eye on the key and she like this.
You know, if they've been to the last two best of the best recently, that I would definitely bring a good show again. Hopefully all the rest of the artists will do the same. I'm pretty sure they would, but I'm bringing the heat. You know, if they've been to the last two best of the best recently, that I would definitely bring a good show again. Hopefully all the rest of the artists will do the same. I'm pretty sure they would, but I'm bringing the heat.
The ZNS team continues to play a major role in this event as we have 100 tickets to give away. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Wes Calix Forbes.
Definitely got to get one of those tickets. Still to come Wednesday. It's Wednesday, and you know what time it is. It's time for Leno Wealth Wise. Tonight we talk about settlers, directed trusts. Stay close for that.
We at Candid Security offer a varied range of security services, including guard service. We do armored service, we do pre-employment investigation, background checks, also got people for employment. A live business hosted PBX is extremely important to our operation. I don't have to be in my office. I can easily get connected with our clients, my vendors, my NASA office, and with our employees in the field, anytime, anywhere.
365. That's how many days you can save this year at Simple Value and Quality Supermarkets. Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs, 15 ounces, $1.79. Commodore Incorporated milk, 14 wings, $1.79 per pound. Eat those every day at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
So we helped bring some magic to the Aubrey Sale Primary School. We were able to visit with Mickey Mouse, bring some gifts, and just celebrate the magic of Disney in the community today here in Nassau.
We were in a Disney sort of mood. It was such a great joy to see their faces light up and to hold those toys in their hands, knowing that I've got a piece of Disney in my hand. It was just awesome.
Disney coming to Eleuthera, coming to Nassau and Abaco. I'm so proud of Disney Cruise Line and the work Disney is doing, especially in the classroom and the schools in the Bahamas.
This has been an amazing day for me.
Looking at a drone shot of the House of Assembly, take it all in. Let's take a flight down to Grand Baha Mar. General, Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Dame Cynthia Pratt recently wrapped up her tour on Grand Baha Mar with a special visit to the Grand Baha Mar Children's Home while bringing joy to the children and staff at that facility. Dame Cynthia was joined by the Honorable Ginger Moxie, Minister of Grand Baha Mar, and Kingsley Smith Jr., Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Grand Baha Mar. She also visited Genesis Academy and the Clab Resources Center at Trip Circle, Ladon.
Well, Desmond, in today's WealthWise segment, we're diving into two specialized types of trusts that can play a crucial role in estate planning. Tonight, Leno Corporate Services gives us a look at settler-directed trusts and insurance trusts, two options that offer flexibility and protection in different ways.
Trusts can be powerful tools in managing and protecting assets for future generations. But with so many types, it's essential to know which might best fit your financial goals.
The first would be a settlor-directed trust. And just as the name implied, the settlor, our client, the person who has assets that is transferred into the trust, that person is going to direct the trustees. They would guide the trustees on the type of investments we would have, and they would also give guidance and direction on how the funds are to be distributed.
Unlike traditional trusts, where a trustee has full control, a settler-directed trust puts more power in the hands of the person who set it up. An insurance trust, on the other hand, is designed specifically to hold a life insurance policy.
At Leno, we want the insurance trust to be used by anyone who wants the protection and the benefits of a trust. And what's the benefit of doing this? With an insurance policy, and usually with your will as well, you have to pay out in lump sums generally. You would pay your beneficiaries precisely in one shot. But with a trust, you can leave your insurance policy with the trust, and the trustee can pay out as you desired.
Both settler-directed and insurance trusts can play important roles in estate planning, each offering unique advantages. Speaking with a financial advisor like those at Leno can help determine which option might best suit your goals and ensure your assets are managed with care. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Diane Dorset.
Good stuff there from Leno Corporate Services. Let's now take a look at what's coming up in sports.
And a young Bahamian football player one step closer to making his dreams a reality. Details of that story coming up in sports. your Wednesday sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports from over the weekend. A Bahamian collegiate sprinter making headlines. His first season in a new program. Oscar Smith setting a new school record for the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs in the men's 60-meter hurdles at the Rod McCravey Memorial Meet in Kentucky. The Ohio State transfer running a blazing time of 7.76 seconds, again setting a new program standard. The St. Augustine's College graduate who transferred from OSU to join the team with Bahamian coach George Clare as the associate head coach for sprints and jumps, who win a semifinal heat in 7.82 to initially break the school record before breaking it again in the final. Still in the collegiate ranks this time in football news, a young Bahamian hoping to make his professional football dreams a reality as he gets one step closer as he's set to play Division I football this coming fall. Corey Moss, a three-star defensive back out of Georgia, but formerly of Queens College here in Nassau, signing with the Miami of Ohio Redhawks in the Mid-American Conference. Moss visiting the ZNS studios to speak about what went into his decision.
It was my first offer altogether. Coach Blanton, he was a pretty straight-up guy with me. He told me what it is. When you come in here, yeah, you may have to battle against one or two players, but we really don't let like freshmen play like this. But I think you actually have an opportunity to come in, play in early, and make a big impact for our program. Then a lot of schools, they'll have like recruiter coordinators recruit their kids, but the head coach, he made sure there was the head coach calling me and recruiting me. So it showed me altogether, okay, they were serious about me. They called my family and make sure my family was straight, flew my family out, make sure I was straight, came to my games, my practices, and they just showed a lot of love. And I mean, I respect people who respect me, and I show love to people who show love to me. So they recruited me like no other school, showed love like no other school. So I always had that relationship with him that made my decision.
The young defensive back on his goals for next season.
My main focus right now is getting on the field, of course, because most freshmen don't play, but I'll put in the work, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I mean, I just have to work towards the goal. I mean, I can't expect to just get anything placed in my hands. So my main focus is do what I can, put the work in, and see where it takes me from there, and just trust God's plan in my life and in my future.
And that's been a look at your sports on this Wednesday. A check on weather when we return.
Try something that's special. That's super value and quality. Supermarkets. Kraft macaroni and cheese, 7 1/4 ounces, $1.19. Parma chunk tuna, 5 ounces, 89 cents. Boneless chicken breast, $2.99 per pound. Fresh pork picnics, $1.99 per pound. Sweet mangoes, 2 for $3. Fresh lemons, 3 for $1. Specials every day at super value and quality. Supermarkets.
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the sunshine.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
It's time now for your access weather forecast, and we have a dry front boundary exiting the southeast Bahamas, and that's being followed by another front boundary that's approaching our northern Florida, and that should get into our area sometime on Monday afternoon, and that will usher in some more cool weather for another several days. Your boating forecast tonight, well, it's brought to you by Live Business, where you're always protected during the worst storms. In the northwestern and central parts of our country tonight, the winds are going to be northeast at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. High tide, that will take place at 9:44 tonight, and small craft are simply asked to exercise caution. And then for the southeast Bahamas, in the northwestern southeast Bahamas, those winds, they're going to be out of the northeast a little stronger, 15 to 20 knots, wave heights 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. So small craft are also asked to exercise caution in the southeast Bahamas tonight. And then tomorrow, Thursday, in the northwestern central islands, the winds become northeast-east. They will be reducing in speeds, 10 to 15 knots, the wave height subsiding 2 to 4 feet. The high tide will occur at 10:02 in the morning, with the low tide at 4:28 in the afternoon. And for the southeast Bahamas, the winds northeast to east, 12 to 18 knots, so a slight reduction there as well. Wave heights reduced to 3 to 6 feet, with the caution flags maintaining for the southeast Bahamas. But as we take into Friday, we're going to have some light and variable winds in the northwest and central island. Very flat sea conditions, high tide 10:42 in the morning, low tide at 5:06 in the afternoon. And for the southeast Bahamas, we'll drop those caution flags. The winds become northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots. The wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
My work is on the water. We diving. No line is how I survive. Listen, from Foggy to Yellowtail, from Jackfish to Killer Whale, I jump in my dinky boat and I head on down the coast. I need a fish to bite. My kids gotta eat tonight, so I do what they gotta do. Break some fish back for them to stew. I've been in the trail long.
And that's going to do it for your international temperature, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But join me at 11 o'clock for a full weather update. Desmond and Ladon.
Well, thanks, Basil. Look like Trump is going to have a very cold weather for his inauguration.
Very cold weather indeed, Desmond. Hope everyone warms up, including our team set to attend. But for now, let's check in with Matea Cunningham with Let's Talk Socials.
Hi, and welcome back to Let's Talk Socials. I'm Matea Cunningham, your host. Today, we're discussing the California wildfires and the unfortunate measures taken by individuals who are in the path. The California wildfires continue to devastate communities, with thousands of acres burned and countless residents displaced. These fires, fueled by strong winds and dry conditions, have destroyed homes and strained emergency services. Environmental experts warn that climate change is intensifying fire seasons, making disasters like this more frequent and severe. Officials urge residents to stay updated on evacuation orders and fire warnings to ensure safety. Let's take a look at what social media has been saying.
I've been trying to get to my house for 5 hours. I literally rescued them off the street. They deserve better than this.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
How do I get to my house?
I shouldn't be crying because my entire block is burnt down, but God saved my house. Why are all of my neighbors, why are they in the middle of 2 burnt down blocks? There's one house standing, and that's mine.
Now, while this isn't happening in the Bahamas, the world is very interconnected. So if you have family members or friends in the area, remain in constant communication with them to ensure their well-being. Send up a prayer for those in California. I'm Matea, and this has been Let's Talk Socials.
Heart-wrenching images of those wildfires in California.
Very heart-wrenching.
We offer our prayers to those impacted.
All right, Desmond.
Yeah. Well, that's a wrap for Access Now on this chilly Wednesday. Stay tuned. Rundown with Clint Watson
is up next. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Take care.
What does disability look like? In a busy airport terminal? At the check-in counter? At security checkpoints? Or even in baggage claim? Passengers with hidden disabilities often go unnoticed. Globally, 1 in 7 persons have some form of a disability. 80% of those disabilities are non-visible. In an airport environment, workers are often unaware of hidden physical, mental, or neurological disabilities that some passengers live with. This can lead to frustration and a less than ideal travel experience. So, how do we make the invisible more visible? At LPIA, we've implemented the Sunflower Lanyard program. The lanyards are visual cues for airport workers to immediately identify passengers who might need additional assistance. NAD is teaming up with the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities and key stakeholders at LPIA to launch the internationally recognized initiative. We're joining more than 180 airports and 26 countries already in the program. NAD is the first organization in the Bahamas to recognize the Sunflower Initiative. It's a way to show our continued commitment to making LPIA a safe, welcoming, and inclusive airport for all. Passengers needing to secure a free Sunflower lanyard can email sunflower@nas.bs or call 1242-397-8600. For more information, visit www.nassauLPIA.com.
A lot of our young men and women, they look forward to being around the game of basketball so much because a lot of their community is infested with crime and violence. It's always been a passion of mine to make sure to channel these young men and women in the right direction through sports. Basketball and being in this environment is a safe haven for them in terms of what they need to do to get out. You have leadership conference to help these young men and women to understand the importance of making the right choice. I tell all of my athletes, when you go to school, help yourself, stay focused. Use basketball, don't let basketball use you. I love the game. The game has been good to me, and I just want to give back to the young people who have opportunity so the game can be good to them. Crime-free looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
The Rundown is brought to you. The Rundown is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's good to have all of you with us. It's a busy news day today. If you missed the big stories, no worries. We've got you covered. We'll recap some of the major ones for you. That Supreme Court injunction filed by the government yesterday restoring normalcy to some of the country's essential services, namely pretty much health care. Now, Health and Wellness Minister, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, was on this show last night when he reported that 90% of junior doctors called in on Monday, while 98% didn't show up for work on Tuesday, severely impacting hospital operations, particularly the accident and emergency sections. Take a listen.
I'm still trying to understand what motivated the action. Thank God the impact that I thought they would have was in there. Here we are talking with professionals, doctors, who have not only a duty to the employees, that's the government, and yes, if there are issues with the government, they have the right to take industrial action, but in the context of their duty to their patients.
That, of course, is Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, who wasn't mincing any words on with reporters today on that, what he called, quote, illegal action spearheaded by the Trade Union Congress over the past 2 days. Now, he called that pretty much unnecessary. Now, also what's important to note is, of course, the Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honorable Michael Alcides, he revealing that these actions, fiscal impact is still being assessed, and he did dismiss suggestions that the government had been stonewalling workers.
Prepared to address the issues. Some of them take a little while long, and we just request patience. The government is willing to address them.
There you have it. Well, the first day of Parliament for 2025 taking place today, and standing by tradition, parliamentarians assembled for their annual worship service at Christ Church Cathedral. We all know parliamentarians need all of Jesus they could get. Well, Bishop of the Anglican Diocese of the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos Islands, Right Reverend Leish Boyd, offering some strong words of advice to the lawmakers. Here's what he had to say.
Is there bad behavior among you? Irresponsibility, slackness, a self-serving approach, and even complacency? Unfortunately, in my view, there is a little bit of that. And so there is always a call to do better. I encourage you, try to aim higher, because the lower stuff is bad for the institution called representative democracy. In my view, there is too much time spent battling and not enough time collaborating on broader national urgencies and priorities. I cannot tell you how to do your job, because I'm in another field. But I can speak from my heart as someone whom you represent and encourage you always to try to raise the bar, to be your better self, and to pursue what is noblest and what is best.
Couldn't have said it any other way, Bishop. You said it correctly. Raise the bar and be your better self. Now, I know it's tense. You don't go after the politicians, but let's just start there, because the House of Assembly is going to be back in session. And let's just face it, last calendar year, it was quite, should I say, eventful, at least. And hopefully parliamentarians weren't being their better selves, because if that is your better self, then we're going to have an issue. And hopefully they would take the advice of the good bishop and seek to do just that. Now, let's be honest. We are a year away from election year. Are we going to see the better selves, or are we going to see more show-stopping performances of people trying to make themselves relevant to the fact that I want to be elected or re-elected, or I want to be in power, or whatever it may be? The reality is, it is our sacred place of legislation, and there ought to be standards that are held to, and people ought to conduct themselves in a certain way all the time. Not just when you feel like it, but pretty much all the time. You are the standards of how people should conduct themselves in the Bahamas, and when you don't uphold that standard, then it leaves a lot to be desired. And Parliament has always become sometimes a playground, or most people term it when it gets out of hand, a circus, rather than a place of serious business, where we put the people first and not our personal agendas. But we are all hoping for the best. We're not going to criticize. We're hoping that the standard will be raised, and that as the people's business continues in Parliament during this parliamentary session, that there will be a new level of respect for our country. Why do I say our country and not each other? Because you can easily lose respect for somebody based on how they act and what they say. But if you respect your country will dictate a certain kind of posture in the halls of Parliament. And even when you are tempted to go low, for the sake of your country, which you love and respect, you will go high. when people try to cause you to act out of your character, your love for your country will cause you to maintain your posture of integrity and professionalism. And that is what we ought to see in Parliament. But it's not an easy thing, you know, particularly for the person that must sit in that seat and bring order, even if it's to the side that she has been elected to serve with. It is a tough job. You're constantly under criticism, particularly by a Bahamian public that is not forgiving and that is very judgmental and that is very opinionated. Yet, you must operate with the degree of professionalism and try to maintain the respect of the people's hallowed place. And so that brings the Speaker of Parliament into question, and the fact that her role is never an easy one. And she is now speaking out about it and about her role and about the events past and looking forward to the future. When we come back tonight, she'll be at this desk, and we'll talk to her about the events of last year and what she will stand for and what she will not tolerate. We already know that she won't tolerate stuff. She ain't afraid. She won't back down. May not be your liking, may not be your choosing, but she is the person chosen for the job. And we'll talk to her about what it is that she faces on a day-to-day basis and going forward. And then a little later, you know, we like to talk about consumer protection and what you should be aware of. We have the chairman of the Consumer Protection Commission. A new release came out today with the figures. We're going to talk about that. So the eventful show today, you do not want to move. You don't want to miss it. We're going to get started right after the break. You are watching The Rundown. We're back with the Speaker of the House of Assembly right after this.
Make your company representative stand out through an embroidery design on your uniforms from Janae's Uniform Center, Chesapeake Road. Janae's utilizes the latest state-of-the-art embroidery technology to monogram large and small quantities of shirts, caps, bags, and other articles. If you don't already have a digitized logo, Janae's can design and digitize your idea and bring it to life. Then install the logo of your choice from their large selections of 27 stock colors of golf shirts in cotton or dry fit, caps, or workwear. Call 394-8385 or 6 or visit www.janaes.com.
Here at Immigration Care Service, you can trust us, especially if you have experienced issues or problems with the U.S. immigration at the borders. We'll do our best to provide options and solutions to immigration roadblocks, so travelers can continue visiting the U.S. and residents can continue living their lives in the U.S. without worries. The best part? Our services are affordable and accessible. Take the mystery, confusion, and fear out of your immigration concerns. Contact Immigration Care Service today.
As a parent and pediatrician, I know how important it is to keep our little ones up to date with their childhood immunizations. When your little ones are immunized, they have protection against diseases like measles, whooping cough, and polio, which has a treatment or cure. When the immunized child is exposed to the germs that cause these diseases, their immune system is prepared to fight immediately, preventing sickness and even death. Parents have been doing this for years to protect their children. Now it's your turn to keep your little ones safe.
Vaccines are essential for new and returning students. As you begin back-to-school preparations, ensure that your children's vaccinations are up to date. All vaccines are available at all public health clinics. This message is brought to you by PAHO WHO, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and USAID.
I don't know, but what kind of cars? I ain't even know where to park. Yeah, that's not parking. Look at this way. Like, you ain't getting nowhere to go. Don't park him. Just don't park him. Don't park him. Yeah, that's how they get. No, man, you can't park him on the gas. I ain't gonna be that long. I ain't gonna be that long. On the gas, watch it. Boy, what's going on, dog? I tell you we shouldn't park here now. This way parking, bro. I tell you we shouldn't park here. No, get one of these things. My God, big bro, and he got a sticker inside. This ain't this mod, though. We gotta move. This is honey gas. Let's go. We gotta move. Don't leave me right now. Sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
We play just like your kids. We text just like your kids. We learn. We even cook. We take selfies. We have hobbies. And we love sports. In every way, we are just like everyone else and enjoy the same things and live our lives every day, just like you do. So if you happen to meet us, treat us just like everyone else. Because at the end of the day, we're just like you. Living life with Down syndrome is simply living. To learn more about Down syndrome, call 727-2105. This message is brought to you by the Grand Bahama Down Syndrome Society.
By giving unconditionally, not expecting anything in return, I thought it was a wonderful way of showing this love, and I believe that it is love that truly draws people, and so I thought we could cover a lot more people by feeding. Volunteers, you know, they have truly been sold.
My passion is to help, and I thank God for what I can do through the help of Bahamas Feeding Network.
Abuse, domestic violence, suicidal tendencies. Are you being stressed out from these problems? Call the national hotline at 422-2763 or 322-2763. There are trained social workers available 24 hours to help you. Know that you are not alone in this.
Welcome back to The Rundown. It's great to have all of you with us, particularly those of you who are watching on social media and the Lions Den on Facebook, and of course, those of you on YouTube. It's great to have you all with us. Well, it was a story that is now etched in Bahamian history. On December 4th, 2024, order was lost in the House Assembly with pandemonium breaking out and the mace, the symbol of the Speaker's authority, thrown out of the window. We go back to this report from Felicity Darville.
While Freetown MP Wayne Monroe was on his feet, Marco City MP Michael Pintard rose to speak without being recognized by the Speaker, demanding a chance to respond to the Prime Minister's address about the Commissioner of Police. At this moment, member for St. Barnabas Shannon Don Cartwright rose to his feet, left his spot, headed to the Speaker's desk, and grabbed the mace. He proceeded to a nearby window and flung the mace out. The Speaker and MP for Bamboo Town, Patricia DeVoe, attempted to get the situation under control, but the House of Assembly landed in total disorder.
My Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord.
The mace landed on a platform outside the House window set up for the Junkanoo parade. A group of officers, MPs, and House officials attempted to subdue Mr. Cartwright. He was escorted out along with several other opposition members. The mace was returned to the Speaker's desk and the House temporarily resumed, with Speaker DeVoe making this statement, calling it a dark day in politics in the Bahamas.
I will review the tapes and I will apprise the country later of my findings. But during today's event, I was assaulted, I was almost hit. Thank God for a glass of water in front of me. The Honorable Deputy Speaker was given a blow to the head and has to go to hospital. And we have a police officer with terrible damage to his leg. This is Parliament. That's where we come. We were elected to come to take care of the citizens of this country. This is not a political arena. This is Parliament.
Felicity Darville for the Bahamas Tonight.
As you saw in that report, Patricia DeVoe has made a name for herself as Speaker of the House of Assembly and the way she has conducted her proceedings in the House of Assembly. She, of course, is a member of Parliament for Bamboo Town and, of course, is a representative of the people as she presides over her House. He joins me now on the rundown. Madam Speaker, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Clint.
You sat here and watched the video. That was, I call it your house, because you're the Speaker.
Yes, we're living that moment.
As you watch that, what comes to mind?
Well, it's something that I'd like to put to the back of me, but what comes to mind is, desperation almost. Desperation is a word that I would like to use. But, you know, I can't blame the members on the other side for doing what they did, because this is what we call politics. And unfortunately for us in this country, politics is handled in a way almost like barbaric, you know? And we have to level down, and we, as politicians, have to bring it down.
I would think that for any Speaker of the House of Assembly, one of the hallmarks of your tenure is you want to ensure that you maintain law and order. How do you feel to see this happen under your leadership of the House of Assembly, to see the House in that kind of disarray?
Well, Clint, for me, bringing balance for the House of Assembly is not going to be an easy job.
Why do you say that?
Well, first and foremost, I have 38 characters. 38 characters that I have to deal with. Once I get into the House of Assembly, all from different backgrounds and all have different ideologies and all have different aspirations. And so for me, having control of that situation was, for the better word, where the mace was thrown out, but it did not happen in a way where the authority was taken away. And you know, what is ironic about this whole situation, and I have to come back to it because I look at the 3 times that the mace was thrown out, but the latter 2 times that the mace was thrown out, it was under female speakers. And I find it very ironic, you know, that at this moment in time, when another female speaker has, after 2 decades now, come to sit, the mace was thrown out, you know? But when I look at that, Clint, it is a part of history that I want young people to understand is this. You can't be a lawmaker in one breath, and that very same breath, be a lawbreaker. There's rules, there's regulations, you know? There's a pattern, there's a protocol for what it is to become a government. And so it's about not just saying wait your turn, but wait on the process to happen, for it to happen. And with that happening like that, all I can say is to God be the glory that it didn't turn out in a worse state, you know, because here I am, I had a deputy speaker that was hurt, and I had a police officer that was hurt, all in the line of their duties. You know, when you get up in the morning and you come to work, especially at Parliament, where the world is watching us through a lens, you don't expect to go home either damaged or hurt. You expect the best behavior to happen in that place, or the best conduct, let me say, in that place. But it doesn't happen that way. Does it fall down because I'm a woman? I don't really think so, because I do believe that I'm a strong woman. But I believe that the challenge comes because when I look back, Clint, on the way things happen in latter days, when we had male speakers, it didn't happen like this, you know? And I look back, and I remember looking back and saying, boy, being a speaker is such an eloquent job. But when you sit in that seat, which is also a lonely seat, you begin to wonder. And oftentimes I'm judged, you know, I'm judged. People are very, very judgmental on the way I conduct the House, but I tell them a lot of what really goes on in Parliament, they don't really get to see and experience. You understand? Because at the end of the day, my actions is only a reaction to the way I'm handled as a speaker. If a speaker says to you, honorable member, take your seat, and a member shouts back at the speaker, no, I am not taking my seat, then it is my job, Clint, to make sure that law and order is the order of the day inside the House of Assembly.
Do you believe that your judgments are fair? Do you believe you preside over the House with a degree of fairness, contrary to people, the opposition, who may chide that you're biased or that you're not fair to them? Do you believe that you're a speaker who operates with fairness?
You know, it's only until something of bad blood happens that you judge and say, you're unfair. But there are many times that I bend the rules. If a member is explaining something, I go over, I said, okay, allow the member. Sometimes they jump up on points of orders that are not points of orders, but I allow them. Because I have to remember that outside of me, the country, the citizens are watching, and they have to have a level of understanding what is going on in those proceedings. And so I allow members to either not just banter, but to explain themselves a little bit more. There are times when both sides complain that, oh, Madam Speaker, you're being a little bit too lenient for them. I've had members get up and say, it's one rule for them, and it's another rule for the other side. But I believe that I make choices and decisions not just for me, Clint, but for the best interest of the country and those who are listening. That's why I make my decisions based on.
It's often said that Parliament is a place where members represent their communities and constituencies.
That is correct.
Who speaks and represents for Bamboo Town?
Nobody, actually. And I have not had one member, not one, come and say, Madam Speaker, you know, what goes on in Bamboo Town? Let me share that for you, you know? And that's sad. But Clint, my work will speak for me. I've been doing a lot of work, and there are times when I do have a sneak peek when it comes to member statement, when I do say a little something, but I would love the day when a member would say to me, Madam Speaker, on behalf of you and the great constituents of Bamboo Town, I would just like to take 5 minutes out of my speech and talk about some of the things and the initiatives that you're doing there.
How do you get things done? A lot of people are able to do things because of their portfolios in government. Yours is a Speaker of the House of Assembly. How are you able to get things done for the people in your constituency?
By going out and what they call hustling. You know, but you know, I move around day to day. I go to various ministries myself, and I ask for opportunities, not for me, but for my community and for my people. You know, and for the better half, a lot of the members of Parliament and on the governing side have been very kind to me. Some I'm still waiting on, you know, but for the most part, a lot of them have been very kind and very open door and trying to help me to be able to help myself. But I can tell you, being a speaker is not an easy job, not just in the chair, but also in your community, because you have to go through so much, because the stipend they give you is not enough to bring a balance for what really needs to happen in the community itself.
Do you see this as I call it, the sacrificial lamb of in the governing party? When you win an election and you have to serve as speaker, you're now almost the keeper of the law and order, rather than being able to push the agenda of your people and your communities. It's almost like you're sacrificing your seat to preside over Parliament.
Not really, you know, because speaker is something I really wanted to do.
You wanted that?
I wanted that. You know, I have no issues in sitting down and being the Speaker of the House of Assembly. I believe that I have the character for it and the patience too. When I look around, I say, Lord, I don't know if much could really come and handle the drama that comes along with that chair. But I would like to see a time under this independent space where we are on, when the Speaker can be placed in a position where he or she in the future does not have anybody running against them, because it's a little bit more difficult for a speaker to be able to provide for his or her constituency based on the fact that they don't have a portfolio. The only portfolio you have is that of the speaker. So it's a little bit tougher. So you have to rely on the generosity of colleagues, or now I can safely say the governing party. So sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's not.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about your style of over the speaker. It's come as a criticism. Some people say you're very
out there.
I want to talk about that when we come back. You're watching The Rundown with the Speaker of the House of Assembly. We're back after this. Stay close.
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the sunshine.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
Hello, friends. I'm Mario Nuri, inviting you to the next A Familiar Walk as we walk down memory lane with our program over the years. Memories are the key not to the past, but to the future. So join us with former Governor Generals Dame Ivy Dumont, Sir Orville Turnquest, Sir Arthur Foulkes, former Prime Minister Perry Christie, and former Deputy Prime Minister and now Governor General Dame Cynthia Pratt. At every phase of our life, we make memories that we cherish all our lives, and we ask you to join us for a few of ours.
It's a joy, to help someone who is in need,
I'm proud to know that we are able to accommodate them with a hot meal, fresh meal, and a well-balanced meal.
A lot of our clients, as you know, it's in the inner city, and persons who really and truly and so much have lost their job. And for whatever reason, 2 months, 3 months, they really don't have anything.
You have to have some kind of kindness to do this.
Welcome back to The Rundown. My guest tonight is the Speaker of the House of Assembly, the Honorable Patricia DeVoe. We're talking about really her role and what it is that she has to preside over, especially as they head into a new year and the session continues in Parliament. And as I was saying before the break, many have criticized your style of leading the House of Assembly. They say, oh, you're rude. Oh, she says some things that are just quote-unquote ghetto, or how she leads. Oh, she's unfair. And it's criticisms like that. What do you say in response to your style of presiding over Parliament?
Listen, Clint, it's like this. I'm not there to emulate anybody. I'm going to be me. And when I first started out, I was a little bit more on the British side. And then I sort of...
The British side?
Yeah, I grind myself down because as you move from strength to strength, and especially when you move around the family islands, you want to be relatable. You understand? And so one of the things that people don't like most about me is not really per se my style, It's the fact that I'm a rule enforcer. You understand? And I know my rules and procedure.
You studied it?
I've studied it. I'm living it. I go up and down with it. And so a lot of times I come under open criticism because I utilize the rules that governs the House of Assembly, that it governs me as a speaker. And so when you're lenient, oh, everybody loves you. You know, she has a wonderful style. But the minute you become an enforcer of the rules that regulates the House of Assembly, then they start to call you rude. They start to call you ghetto. They start to call you bigoty. All of these things. But I've seen things happen in the past with male speakers, and they call them authoritative. What is the balance between a male and a female speaker? You know, they can go to the House of Assembly and very well elevate their voices and say, okay, he's dealing with authority. But the minute I elevate my voice, I am ghetto. But let me tell you something, I don't live by that. Clint, I remember one time my brother sent me a note, and people have to realize that you can't allow your politics to get in the way of your decision making. And I remember when the mace was thrown out, and I screenshotted because I wanted to hold on to that. And the individual said, you know what? They really should have thrown the speaker out of the window.
Whoa.
Can you imagine something like that? I have a family.
Wow.
And if for me to be thrown out the window, that means you almost wish death upon me.
Right.
And so I'm resetting as I move back into this new year. I'm gonna bring new energies, new innovations, but if I have to defend the rules, I am going to defend the rules. Because when I get in that green chair, I'm not defending me, not Patricia. I am defending the citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And if I have to work with every fiber of me to bring some level of decorum to that green carpet, I'm going to do it, Clint.
I often say people don't understand sometimes the rules of the House of Assembly. So at face value, you see something happening, and you say, well, why won't she allow him to speak? Why can't he speak? Not recognizing that there's an agenda, parliamentary agenda. And there are places you can speak, and there are places you cannot speak. For example, there's a part of the agenda that says ministers' communications. That is for cabinet ministers.
Only.
Only. And so if you want to get up, you can't get up in that time and say, I want to speak, because you're not able to speak. And so I think a lot of people say, well, why she won't let him speak? She letting the prime minister speak, she letting the minister speak, not understanding that there's an agenda and there's a policy and a procedure that says you can speak at a certain point on the agenda.
That is correct.
And if you do want to speak, you have to submit in advance, get approval, send your comments in advance ahead of time. These are things people don't see. And they don't know these things. And so when a ruling is made, they simply think it's just unfair, not understanding that you have to follow an agenda.
That is correct. And many times I am scolded because I follow the rules. But I realize the citizens of the country really don't know the rules, per se. So it's my job to try to help them to understand what is going on and why I made that decision. My job is never, ever to muzzle. I have to allow both sides to be heard. And at the end, in the interim, I also have to give protection to both sides. So I'm not there to muzzle them. I'm there to help them. And sometimes, too, with me allowing them not to say certain things, because at the end of the day, Clint, lawsuits can happen. And sometimes I have to say to members, you got to know protection when it's coming your way. Certain things you ought not say. And also, I cannot allow persons or any member, any honorable member in that place, to come and put on the law, on the rule, on the agenda, or on record. Let me say that. Anybody, private citizen of this country, put their name out there. I have to be their judge and jury. I am their greatest protector. So I'm very wary when I don't allow persons to do certain things, because at the end of the day, it could come back to bite us.
You sat in church today at the beginning of this new calendar year. We heard the charge from Leish Boyd, Right Reverend Leish Boyd, to parliamentarians. As you sat there, what went through your mind as you get ready to reconvene Parliament for another session?
As I sat there, I said, Lord, I wonder if my members are really, really listening. And not just listening, gonna apply it when we get back into session. You know, Clint, I often tell people, Any speaker's dream is to see one side be able to come together with the other side. Because the bigger picture is not being elected at the polls, you know. Because that's what they do for 5 years. Bound across the board, you did it, no, you did it. You understand? I want to bring a balance. No, we understand who did it. Our job is to fix it.
Correct.
Let's fix it. Let's move the country forward. Let's impact the lives of the Bahamian people. And so my thing about this is, I want to see the House of Assembly get to a place when we could come together and work for the common good of mankind, which is the citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Because I can tell you something, Clint. I am from Bamboo Town. I was born there and I lived there. I have a lot of persons hurting in my community. And I would like for both sides, because both sides create a government, to come together and let's structure something so we could ensure that every man, every woman, every child is taken care of in this country. And that's the kind of Bahamas I'd like to see.
I think you're ready to close. I want to ask you a couple of questions. First question is, can you remember one of your best days? Tell me about it. Of course, on the other contrary side, tell me one of your worst days. Tell me about it. And then this year, what would you like to see happen in Parliament?
Well, one of my best days was being sworn in. You know, it was a beautiful time for me. It was something new, and it's something that I wanted to do. And, you know, I want to serve. And so that was a beautiful time for me. Well, the worst day I could tell you is December 4, 2024. You know? And I don't want to ever see that kind of a level of politics in this country again. Because bad behavior does not depict the fact that you're going to be a good government. People are really, really tired. As I move around, Clint, people often ask me what it is why we should vote for you. So I often tell people, vote for me based on the works that I've done. Vote for me based on the works that I have done to impact your life and make it better for you to live in this community. Now, what I'd like to see happen, I'd like for us to go back, reset. You understand? Bring a new level of energy and a new level of innovation. We're in 2025, and we're right outside the borders of a new election. Do not use the floor of the House of Assembly as a place to just war over who thinks they should be the next government. Use the House of Assembly to impact and push this country forward. We have the opportunity to be great. As I move around the Caribbean, we're one of the greatest little countries in the world. Let's make it even greater, but only if we can get together and work for good.
What do you say to the people of Bamboo Town?
Oh, the people of Bamboo Town, I love them. And like I say to them, if they want me one more time, I'm willing. But if they said, Pat, this is not what we want you to do, I'm still willing. You know, because I was born there, Clint. I was raised there, and I'm still there. And Clint, I'm not going anywhere.
My final question, your assessment of your government's performance to date in office.
Well, the government performance, let me say this. The government has been able, as I sit, to pass a lot of good legislation in the House. And I'm extremely proud of them and the journey. And if we can get together as one voice and continue the business of the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, I think we're going to be all right.
Madam Speaker, it's always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you for coming on the Rundown.
Thank you.
Speaking with us. And stay with us. Ahead, we're going to talk to the chairman of the Consumer Protection Commission. Some new things coming out. You want to hear those figures. That's up in the Rundown next. Stay with us.
over 3 million shipwrecks on the ocean floor, just waiting to be found. Nothing is truly ever lost at sea, only hidden by time and sand. When I put this fleet together, it wasn't just for fun. And although we do have fun, we never lose sight of our goal. Right here, right now, we are on a mission.
The United States of America just voted in its 47th president, Donald J. Trump, and we're packing our bags and heading to Washington, D.C. to be there on Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2025. The stage is set, and here's your opportunity to be a part of this historic journey when you sign up for one of our affordable advertising packages. Your business will be included in our live on-location news stories in the National Report and Access Now. And that's not all. The Rundown with Clint Watson will also air live from Washington, D.C. Thought we were done? Not yet. Our dynamic social media teams will be in D.C. as well, giving you live, interactive, up-to-the-minute updates as it all unfolds. Don't delay. Call our sales department now at 502-3800 and reserve your exclusive D.C. package. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you all set? Well, let's hop on that flight. You know we always have you covered, because only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back to the show. The Bahamas Consumer Protection Commission reaffirming its commitment to safeguarding consumer rights across the nation. Now, with an unprecedented rise in reported cases and recovered claims, the CPC continues to serve as a trusted ally for Bahamian consumers. Executive Chairman, Senator the Honorable Randy Roll joins us live tonight with details just coming out today of the CPC's end-of-year report. Good evening, Chairman. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here with you because the last time you were here, I was out.
Yes.
And so I'm glad to be here behind the desk with you. Tell us about this report, because I'm going to tell you why I wanted to talk to you tonight, because this is an example of action. Right? We oftentimes form these committees, form these commissions, say we're going to do something about it, and we never hear the actual impact and result of what was done. First of all, before we even go into the numbers, explain the purpose of the Consumer Protection Commission.
Well, the Consumer Protection Commission was established to safeguard the interests of the Bahamian consumer against savory practices by providers. And so it's to protect your interests, and that is what our mandate is, and that is what we've been trying to do.
Have you been successful in doing that? And tell us some of the successes and victories you've had.
Yeah, man, it's been very good. As a matter of fact, Clint, to be honest with you, when I moved from downtown to the consumer protection, first thing I said is not as sexy as downtown.
Right.
And so I was a bit concerned. However, we have found a lot of quick wins. We have had a lot of successes. We have used that opportunity to get the message out there. And so a part of it, a large part of it, is educating the consumer as to their rights. Now, in 2023, the government of the Bahamas updated the Consumer Protection Act. And what it did was it gave us teeth to really get some things done. And so consumers now can realize and be comforted that if there is a complaint that's made against a provider, it's not going to fall on deaf ears.
So are you saying then that people who have made complaints and you've investigated and found it to be legitimate, they have gotten resolved?
Most definitely.
Give me an example.
As a matter of fact, I can tell you, again, looking at our numbers that we placed out today, in 2021, I think it was like about 52 complaints, where today, in 2024, we ended the year at about 444 complaints total.
Wow.
In terms of dollar value, I think the overall figures for 2024 is about $240,000. And so that's $240,000, Clint, that persons who would have otherwise lost it.
Were able to recover.
Was able to recover just by simply calling Consumer Protection, and again, us being able to solve some of those complaints. And other than that number, Clint, none of those matters were ones that went to court. And so
you were able to resolve these yourself.
Yes.
With the legislation that you have, is giving you the authority to make some decisions and determinations.
Yes, correct. And so I'm grateful to my team at CPC, those in the complaints department, who has done a yeoman's job in, again, solving these complaints. We're a very small team. Basically now we know that we have to grow because the complaints are coming in more and more as the consumer understands what CPC does.
Here's some of the complaints that came in. People complained about defective goods.
Yes.
In other words, they would have purchased something, it didn't work.
Correct.
Or wasn't any good.
Correct.
They reported it to you, you were able to investigate, contact the agency, and get a refund or new goods for the people.
Yes, that's correct.
That's happening here in the Bahamas. Because, you know, we often complain about things, but we never figure that anything can be done about it, and there's recourse to it.
Most definitely.
All right, here's another area that you've done. Lost items. What do you mean lost items?
Using this, for example, the shipping companies.
Right. Okay.
You placed an order. You paid for it.
You never get it.
Never get it.
Instead of the shipping company saying, well, you know, it lost, we have to get back to you, you were able to intervene and cause people to be reimbursed for those lost items.
Most definitely. And I think that's a big one, Clint.
Wow.
Again, we still have a lot of ways to go, but in terms of the success rate thus far, it is something that's very encouraging.
Here's an interesting one. Unfair pricing. Explain that.
Unfair pricing, unfair practices, Clint, there's a number of examples I can give with that. But something that I want to point out is, for example, you are the middleman in a transaction. You know, there is a case where there is warranty or something along those lines, and you don't want to pass on, that's to me. So again, the Act speaks to, listen, this is what I'm entitled to as a consumer. Again, a lot of people don't understand or just weren't familiar with it, and so what our Commission has done is we've tried to educate the consumers. We want smart consumers. We want consumers that know their rights. We've started doing a daily consumer tips. And this has gone far and wide as to what are your rights as a consumer. People know it. You buy a phone, and some people has this policy where we don't give refunds on electrical items.
No returns on electrical items.
No returns on electrical items. Well, the law says differently.
Really?
And so, yes.
A lot of people ain't telling you the truth. They're just putting their own policy in place.
Correct.
Just to try and circumvent the law.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And so our team has been able to show them that, listen, in the new Act, you are entitled to a refund. You are entitled to it. Some people say, listen, I use my credit card. And just today, we met with the Chamber of Commerce because, again, I remember you said, Bishop spoke, I missed the church service, but he talked about collaboration. Well, collaboration is a big thing, a big part of what we're doing in consumer protection today. We want to build relationships. So we're not interested in putting small businesses out of business. We just want to make sure that the consumer is first in everything that you do.
I went to a particular business last week. I purchased something, a food item, and I pulled out my debit card to purchase the item. It was $8 and something cents. And they told me, oh, we don't do purchases under $10 with debit card. You have to spend more than $10 in order to use your debit card. Now, because I heard something before with the Consumer Protection Agency, I knew that was wrong.
Right.
And I remember your agency saying, no, you cannot put a minimum charge on debit cards. Debit card is considered currency and money.
Correct.
You could pay whatever amount for it. You cannot. And I found out that companies are doing it because they don't, because you know, when they're charged by the bank for every transaction, and they figured if I got to pay bank fees.
Get away with it. They try.
Right. I want $8. I can pay bank fees. So we can put up a sign saying no, you $10 or more. That is incorrect, isn't it?
Most definitely. And part of that is regulated by central bank as it relates to some banks. But again, through collaboration, we're able to work with them. We know the law. We're able to tell the providers that this is the law. And most of them have, again, been compliant as it relates to it. For example, there's also IRCA, and so we've formed this relationship with IRCA as well. And so the key is to continue to work with our partners, our brothers and sisters, price control, and every area to make sure that we work in the best interests of the Bahamian consumer.
So you have no excuse, Bahamians. You have no excuse. We often talk about in our country, oh, they treated me bad, oh, this happened to me, oh, that happened. You now can recover from any potential loss based on the laws that are in place as a consumer. You've just got to do the right thing and call in or report it so that you can get recourse on it.
Correct.
Have you been able to solve these in a timely manner, or are these years?
Again, based on the report, most of the matters are solved within a matter of, I think, 4 to 6 weeks. There are some issues that's still outstanding that we have to continue to work on, but we're going to continue to build and grow our team. We're going to continue to build relationships. And once the providers understand that, listen, this is an agency that's going to take an aggressive approach to make sure that we get results for the consumers, they have been very much working with us. And so we're grateful for that. We're going to continue to build with them and make sure that we get results for the Bahamian consumer.
Are there matters that you're not able to solve that must go to the AG's office or that must be referred for legal intervention?
I can say to you that there is, we just wrote to the AG's office this past week because there is a particular provider who has not been as cooperative as possible. Now, the Act gives us the opportunity to even publish who that person is. But again, it's not our style to try and put people out of business. But what we're saying to them is, listen, we're going to write to you. We're going to give you the opportunity to do what's right. And if you still refuse to, then we're going to follow the process. And again, through collaboration with the AG's office and the laws that are in place, the teeth that's in the Act, we're going to act on it. But we need to make sure that the consumer knows that there is someone that's fighting for them.
How does the process work? Do you have inspectors that check on a consistent basis, or are you based on what is reported to us, we then investigate?
We are based on what's reported to us. Now, I can tell you over the Christmas holidays, our inspectors, our investigators wore their vests. Now, you would be surprised of how many consumers approached them because they saw them in these particular places. Again, one of the things that we looked at was we noticed that during the end of the month when old age pensioners were receiving their pensions, in some stores, they were using that opportunity to put expired goods to the front.
Wow.
And, you know, if you're an old age pensioner or someone who just don't have good eyes, you're just going to pick up. Bahamians shop with our eyes, you know, and sometimes, if it just looks good, we won't look at the small details. Right. So we just pick it up. And so what we've tried to do is, again, when people see us in these areas, they say, listen, check this out, check that out. This is something you need to look into. And again, we've received a lot of results just by word of mouth from the consumers.
What is your focus as you look into this year? You've had success with last year. The figures are there to prove and show that. What is the focus this year?
Well, again, when we broke down the numbers as to the #1 complaint, it was the courier services. And so we've received a good success rate there, but there's still a lot more to do. Again, some things we say and do may seem a bit repetitive. But again, that is the role of the consumer protection, to make sure that the consumers understand why we're there. We're there to protect and safeguard your interests. And so we're going to continue to spread the word. Any opportunity we get to talk about it, to share information, you know, we're going to do it. You know, the government just announced the other day that, you know, we're looking into a competitive app that will, again, outside of the bread basket items. You know, consumers will be able to look and see, hey, who has the best prices? Okay, so I don't have to go here. Right. I have this choice. I
can shop
and so
around.
It's, yes, exactly. And so it's giving consumers the opportunity to shop around for what's best. Because, you know, everyone feels the pinch. We just need to make sure, and I'm thankful that the government has moved in that direction to say, listen, let's see how best we can help consumers.
Well, I tell you, hats off to you. The numbers are certainly there. You're making a difference, and I'm glad that consumers, you have recourse. You actually have a place and an avenue where you can get help, where you can get your matters addressed. All you've got to do is pick up the phone and call. Tell us how they can reach you. If people want to call in a complaint or concern, how can they do so? Okay, well, again, we are at Howell Road, our office. We have a number of walk-ins, and then we do have a hot I think it's right at the bottom here, Yes, hotline, and it's a 24-hour hotline number, and that's 357-7898. 357-7898. And so, you know, you can call them right now, and there's someone's going to answer the phone to be able to take your complaint. We build files, and again, we follow them through to the end. Congratulations on your success, and hopefully you'll have even more success in this year. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And that is our show tonight. That does it for the rundown. Be sure to stay locked on the ZNS network for the Bahamas tonight at 11. It's the final newscast in the country with the latest news and information with Royston Jones. He's over there in the building. I see him preparing for the 11 o'clock news. For all of us here at ZNS, I'm Clint Watson. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night, everyone.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful